I'm at the Post Oak Creek today doing something I never thought I would do in Texas, and that's shark tooth hunt. I decided to come shark tooth hunting today, and I'm in Sherman, Texas, and there's this creek where the prehistoric sharks, I guess, used to, I think this area used to be underwater. I'll give a little update on the history later. There's this bridge here, and there's a little sweet little family over there. They just gave me a shark's tooth, and there's another guy down the way. And apparently on the weekends it gets really busy down here. And I just found my first shark tooth. So mine is right here, and that sweet little family gave me this one here. So I'm gonna keep looking. I'm basically using my shell scooper and then sifting it with that. Not really the proper tools, but this is really cool and really something fun and different to do. I'm pretty excited because I just found this right here. I don't know if you can see it very well. It's called a shell crusher. There's a guy down here helping me identify what these are. But it is a shark's tooth. I'm gonna look it up later. Sorry, my hand's shaking. But that apparently is kind of a good find for down here. And I found it amidst all of that. Something else cool down here is there's all these little prehistoric shells. There's tons of them. I'm not sure what these are. I'm gonna find out as well. They're really cool. I just found this. I think this might be a piece of bone, potentially. It's really cool. Look at this. This feels like a heavy stone. Sort of fossilized shell. Let's see what else is in here. Another little shell. Fossilized. I've been out here for about an hour and a half. I'm gonna leave now. I found a nice little haul, which I will post about after I get everything cleaned up and after I do a little bit of research. But you can see down here that this creek bed is just, and you could look anywhere down here probably and find shark's teeth. You do have to bring some footwear to get through the water, and also there's a lot of broken glass down here, so you have to be kind of careful. But this was a really fun adventure and I would highly recommend it. I'm back down at Post Oak Creek this morning. I'm going to do a little bit more shark tooth hunting on this creek. So I just shook this pile. And look what's in there. A little shark tooth. Can you see it? Pick it up. Oh no! Almost fell through the crack. Cutie! Look at this. This is another one of those shell crushers. I wouldn't even known what these things were, but this gentleman told me about them when I was down here before. I'm gonna find out the actual name for him, but he called him a shell crusher. A little curiosity. It's so itty bitty. Maybe it was like a pipe of some kind, but it's so small. There it is. So I'm just finishing up down here. I decided that this was my last pan that I was going to sift through and look at what's in here. Put out the sun. That's a good one. Best I found, other than the shell crusher. I promised a post-shark tooth hunting wrap-up of my finds and a little bit of information on where I found these million-year-old shark's teeth. When I initially Googled where to find shark's teeth in Texas, I didn't expect a place that was located 350 miles from the beach. I mean, I figured they would be on the beach. But Sherman, Texas is about 65 miles north of Dallas. There's a creek there called Post Oak Creek that is a very popular place to dig for prehistoric shark's teeth. The fact that I'm a little unclear about is how somebody actually figured out that there were shark's teeth at some point among the other fossils that are in this creek. Apparently, this area of Texas, back in the Cretaceous period, which incidentally was about 145 million to 65 million years ago, anyway, a large portion of Texas was submerged by the Western Interior Seaway, which was an inland sea that split the country into two landmasses. The Cretaceous sharks left behind their teeth to fossilize, among other parts of their bodies, I assume. Apparently, there were also sharks in Kansas. Who knew? I know, it's crazy. Here's a chart that I found online of the types of sharks that lived in the Western Interior Seaway, and I can't pronounce any of them. But I assume that the varied type of teeth that I found once belonged to some of these guys. I tried to identify the different types of teeth that I found online, but since I can't even pronounce the names of the different sharks, I will just enjoy my little collection and try not to geek out on the paleontology. In a minute, I'll turn the camera around so you can see all of the little treasures that I found in the 2 days that I went hunting for shark's teeth. And I can also give you some tips if you're going to try to do this activity. As I said before, I found these shark's teeth in Post Oak Creek in Sherman, Texas. There was a small pull-off on Travis Street where the bridge crosses over the creek. There maybe 3 cars can fit there. There's a trail leading down to the creek. You can hunt anywhere in the creek, but I stayed close to the bridge in the access area. I did read that at certain times of year, the water is deeper and you need to be careful of that deep water. But I went in April of 2021 and the creek was very shallow and there was a lot of exposed areas as well. So it was really easy to get around. That being said, do wear some type of water shoe or a boot because it is very rocky and there's a lot of broken glass there. And I also heard that there might be snakes, though I did not see any, thankfully. The first day I went, it was about 72 degrees outside and it got quite hot down there. There's no breeze at all. The trees provide some shade, but I would recommend bringing lots of water and sunscreen if you're going to stay a while and play around with your kids or whatever. Also, I brought some tools. I brought a pretty heavy-duty shell scooper and a sifter. The second time, I also brought a collapsible shovel, which I actually didn't end up using, and a bucket with a lid to sit on while I sifted. And of course, bring something to put your little finds in. There were not many people there when I went. There was nobody there the second time, but I do understand that the weekends can get a little busier down there. That being said, there's tons of places to look for shark's teeth down there. This is a great family activity, and I really enjoyed it, and I hope you do too. So let's look at these treasures. Here's my show and tell from my finds at Post Oak Creek. I spent probably total over 2 days, maybe 3 to 4 hours there, and I found there's like 26 or 27 shark's teeth. These are shark's teeth also. This row here, down here, these are all a little bit broken in some way. The little tips are broken off, or like the upper tip or this lower tip is broken off. But it was still really cool to find all these different shapes, colors, and sizes. This little one here, this sweet little family that was down there, there was a little boy and his dad, and they gave me this one because it was my first time and I had never found one. I didn't even know what I was looking for. So they gave me that one. This penny is just here for reference so you can see what size these are. This one here obviously was, I found this last and you saw that in the video. So that was pretty cool. That's probably the biggest one other than these. And these are the ones that he said are called shell crushers. And I don't know, I couldn't find any information. So if you know what these are, please put comments down below. They're really cool. They're rounded, and this is a little bit smaller one that I found the second day. Or actually, yeah, I think I found this smaller one the second day. So if you know anything about these, please let me know. Or if you know anything about these, please let me know, because I couldn't pronounce any of those sharks' names. These pieces here are kind of interesting. I don't know if these are parts of the vertebrae, the shark vertebrae. I'm almost certain it's bone. It just reminds me of bone. Whether or not it's prehistoric, not sure. These shells are really cool. They're like stone. This one's really heavy. And one blog that I read just said that they're oysters. Some types of oysters. Again, I couldn't find any specific information on what exactly these were. This is some sort of a little snail. This piece here, I thought it was one of these shell crushers, but I'm thinking it's a bone. This looks like a knuckle to me. See, when I first saw it, I thought, oh, that's a shell crusher, because it's kind of shaped like these. So it could be. But it also, from this way, it looks like a knuckle. See how it's kind of like, and then it looks sort of cut off right here. So I think it's a fossilized bone of some kind. That's what I'm going with. That's my story. And here's just a little piece of chunky glass. I love glass, tumbled glass. There was a ton of it down there. I have a couple other pieces, but they're outside. I didn't clean them yet. And then here's that little curiosity that I found. I didn't wash this thoroughly yet. It is it's hollow glass, and it has a little hole here. It's obviously busted. I don't know what it is. If anybody has any idea what this might be, please put it in the comments below. That is the tour of my little teeth, and I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you go to Post Oak Creek and hunt for some of these. Again, I found all of this in probably 3 to 4 hours, but you really got to sift well. You have to get the mud and the dirt. That's why you really need to bring a sifter. If you don't bring anything else, bring a sifter so you can sift out the mud and the dirt to reveal these little treasures. And be patient. You really have to look very carefully, because obviously look how teeny these shark's teeth are. They're just teeny. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. This was definitely a fun activity to do in Texas. Never expected I would do something like this in Texas. It's just a blast. So next week I'm going to go digging in Arkansas for gems. So stay tuned for that, and we'll see you next time.